Great. Isn't that a way to start with smiling on your face?
Right
So
there.
it's Email and Coffee with Joy Brooks. It's Thursday in New York. Sunny, cold. It's been pretty windy. And that's the end of my weather forecast. I'm speaking with Darren Gibb, who, by the way, is another me in another body in another place. So this ought to be an interesting conversation. Darren, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Joy. How are you? Hello, wonderful viewers and listeners. So I'm Darren Gibb. I help solopreneurs turn followers into clients using LinkedIn. I'm really all in on AI as well. I think that as solopreneurs, we've been sold a bloody lie. So we have this idea that we can quit our 9 to 5s, work 4 hours a day and make up 6 figures. Bollocks, absolutely not. So I see a real opportunity with AI to kind of democratize, to level the playing field. And that's very much what I'm interested in at the moment. But social selling, content creation, copywriting, email marketing, I'm beginning to get into, but I'm no Joy Brooks. My God, I'm not. I've just figured out what fucking Zapier is today, so I am no Joy Brooks on
Oh,
the
you
old
learned about
email marketing.
Zapier, huh?
I've learned about Zapier. Pretty
Oh,
impressive. I
so
like it.
there's a Zap for that.
Seems to be a zap for everything.
Everything is Zap for that.
So that's who I am. That's what I do. I love working with coaches, solopreneurs, people who know how bloody difficult it is really to get started. And again, content creation is so different from so many people, right, Joy? I mean, people come out of their 9 to 5s. They want this life. They want to be solopreneurs, and rightly so, because for many reasons, they've not been happy at work, undervalued, underappreciated, so on and so forth. But the skills that we learn in our work, usually copywriting, marketing, sales, content creation, graphic generations, graphic editing, video editing, none of that happens. So as solopreneurs, it's about that. So I was a teacher for 10 years. So I love teaching people. I taught kids for the best part of 10 years, high school English. I've taught English to living in Spain. I've taught English to different companies, storytelling presentations. But I've always been a nerd, and I've loved Instagram beforehand, played around with that, got to understand it, didn't make any money, got onto LinkedIn, thought, right, I know how to make a bloody graphic. I can even do a little bit of video editing. I'm going to be the king of LinkedIn. Watch out. What happened? Those crickets, right? No strategy, Joy. So I had to hire a LinkedIn coach, a program, get to understand it, get really in depth, looking at other coaches, algorithm, and everything. And finally, it all began to make sense. And that's what I do nowadays. I help solopreneurs crack the crap of LinkedIn and get straight to their ideal clients.
Yeah, LinkedIn is a virtual it's more than it's a resume on steroids. It's a resume. It's a 4-dimensional resume where you go into the next dimension, and you're networking with people. Suddenly, you're with the person who's reading your resume.
Yeah.
So you connect with them, you have conversations with them, and then you keep on going, and you realize, oh, I can meet people here. Oh, that's cool. And that's not even that's not even like a layer in.
Totally. Totally.
I had
And that's something I think sorry to interrupt you, I think that's something that you've hit on a key problem that so many solopreneurs have using LinkedIn. They end up in the friend zone. They find out about the wife's name, the dog's name, the fucking kid's birthday. Okay, great. And when they're in this zone, it's very difficult to then transfer it into the sales zone where you are the leader, where they're looking up at you with reverence, Very, very difficult to get out of that friend zone. And I think that for many solopreneurs, for many coaches out there, because sales is difficult, right? People don't like sales. I personally love sales. I'm one of the few ones who do. But I've got a sales background. When I was at uni, I was doing sales to get the beer money. When I was traveling and broke, I did sales to get money to have a bloody hostel for the night, right? So I love sales, I always have. But I know that I'm in the minority here. And again, most coaches, solopreneurs have never been taught the skills. So there's so much psychology, so much sales within it. And yeah, the DM strategy for me, if you've sent more than 10 messages and they're not on a call, there's a problem happening here. We need to get 10 messages on that call. And you're right, we we overdo everything. And you're right, it's not even peeling back that first layer of the LinkedIn onion. Nowhere near.
Exactly. I mean, you really need to, every piece of content needs a strategy. And for me, I mean, I do email marketing, and I try to tell everybody with email marketing, I'm a utilitarian. So everything needs a reason. If it doesn't have a reason, chuck it. All right. So when you're doing something on LinkedIn, you're doing it for a reason. Now, it may just be to pass the moment away and to let people know how you're feeling. That's okay. But in the bigger picture, are you doing that so that they can understand who you are, so that you can repel or, connect? Are you doing it purposefully? You're just doing it because you haven't any idea what you're doing.
That's
if you're
it.
telling people about your dogs, and 5 months later you're still telling people about your dogs, unless you work for Rover.com, congratulations, you haven't done anything. Or maybe you want a job with Rover.com, and there's nothing wrong with Rover.com. The point is that I've had conversations with people, and the expressions on their face either are extreme, like, wow, I never thought of that, or they still don't get it. And the other day, having a conversation, I said, if you're looking for work, use LinkedIn, and don't use it just to look for jobs. Look for people in jobs that are like yours. Talk with them. Look for people that are in a company that you're interested in. Talk with them. You're not necessarily, hi, how are you? I want to talk about a job in the company. You're getting to know them. You're finding out about the culture of that company. You're finding about the culture of the job. Maybe you think you want to be maybe you're interested in mops, and you're thinking that you want to go into marketing operations, and you talk to 5 people and you're like, I don't want to do that. That sounds terrible. I don't want that. Well, guess what? But also in the process, you're making connections. And in 3 months from now, that person in mops may have an opening. Now, that's 3 months from now. Okay. But the point of the matter is, the more you do this, again, here we are. Now we're peeling the layers, and we're talking about exponential. You start with 1, and next week you've got 500, and you still only have 1, but it's who that one person knows.
Yeah. And the way, I'm going to cut for a second here, Joy. My camera is about to die, and I don't want to die when you're speaking, so it seems it's a good moment. So give me 2 seconds.
Okay. Station identification. and here from our sponsor, Joy Brooks, who always talks about herself. Joy Brooks is a dog lover, likes Rover.com, and once wanted to work at Rover.com. Find out more about Joy Brooks at LinkedIn. LinkedIn/Joy Brooks. And back to our show already in progress. Kill the music. Cue the camera.
All right, mate. I am just about back.
And to everyone who wonders if I cut my content, now you know I don't.
There we go. Oh, you're not going to cut this?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I like this.
No.
Talk about authenticity.
People are driving in their cars right now going, what in hell's name is that woman doing?
Quite rightly so. Well, wow, I didn't know there was a wee bit of pressure to get back on, but by the magic of the internet,
yes,
I should be able to click this.
Yes.
And
click
while
that.
recording, you cannot change camera settings, which is a bit of a problem.
Oh, no, wait.
A second here, Joe. Let me see if I can get around this with my magical skills. Okay. And
hello, we're back.
Now, for the viewers, here's a little bit. We're going to talk about AI, Joy, because I'm a bloody AI freak. I have got a nifty little thing on my computer that when it works, it's amazing, Joy. When it doesn't work, talk about devil eyes.
Yeah.
Real devil eyes. It's actually doing it right now. So what this is, it's a really smart little bit of AI. It's called NVIDIA Broadcast. You need a NVIDIA graphics card to use it.
Oh, I
But
have
what
one of
it
those.
Well, you can use this, my sister. It's really nice. It tracks your eyes. Why do I love using this? If you're on a sales call, what are you not able to do? Because when you're on a sales call, you want to be looking down the barrel of the camera when you're making that
Yeah,
offer, right?
yeah.
It's really important to connect. But you can't, therefore, as in a person-to-person sale, you cannot read their body language. When you're saying things in a sales call, little flinches you pick up on, and this tells you to go further, to dig deeper. You can't do it if you're staring down the barrel of a camera.
Right.
So I'm literally looking at you right now on my screen. My screen is far below. It's tracking my eyes, and it's bringing it up as if I'm looking through the barrel of the camera, which is lovely, but you see my eyes slightly tracking up sometimes, and that's the AI not quite there.
Well, I've always said, this is the best side of me, so I'll just keep on talking to you like this as if you're over there. No, you're over there. Okay.
Okay, back to where we were.
So we were talking about peeling the skin, the layers of the LinkedIn skin, LinkedIn onion.
LinkedIn
down.
onion skin, yes.
And having the conversation with people and trying to get them to understand that how to use LinkedIn, but immediately, probably what comes to their mind is I don't have any content, and that's the problem.
And that's a real problem to have. That's a real problem to have. We talk about messaging, and you're right, you can build up your communities and networks that way. But a huge part of LinkedIn nowadays is the first thing you post. This is your personal brand. Mm-hmm. This is who you are. This is how you're showing yourself to others. And there's a big conversation at the moment, and it's an interesting one, about authenticity versus authority. And I think last year we really saw on LinkedIn authenticity. We see people being vulnerable, sharing these stories. And it's key to connecting with our audience. It's key to showing our audience, we've been there, we've done that, we've got that bloody t-shirt, we've binned that t-shirt, we get you. But the crying CEO, which I'm sure many people remember, is a good example of this. It backfires as well. And I think there's a fine line to be trodden. And my belief is that on LinkedIn, everyone's a sheep. Everyone's following the Justin Welsh of this world. Whatever Justin Welsh says, boom, we all do it, right? Mm. You see it in, hi, my name's Joy. I'm an email copywriter with 20 years, email marketer with 20 years experience. I talk about X, Y, Z. I post Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. Fuck off, man. Come on. Everyone's got it. Mm-hmm. And this is what we see on LinkedIn. So when vulnerability starts being spoken about, when Brené Brown says it and everyone goes, I love it, yeah, and everyone starts spilling that, there's a real risk of harming your brand. And I think this is important to remember. Too many people are posting about the shit that's going on right now, the vulnerability they're feeling right now. Lovely, I identify with you, but guess what? I'm not going to work with you because you're going through this shit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like storytelling,
right? You're too vulnerable.
Right? It's like storytelling. We should only ever share our scars, not our scabs. Too many people are sharing scabs and pissing blood all over their audience. This is not a satanic ritual. It's LinkedIn, people. Come on now.
No, it is problematic. And I had this conversation the other day with somebody. It's okay to be vulnerable, but realize once you show that to somebody, that their perception is that you're vulnerable. Okay, and that doesn't necessarily work in your favor. Doesn't necessarily work in your favor. And the next time they're thinking, oh my God, she's going to cry. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go to somebody else. Mm. Or, he's going to get upset. Oh, that's that trigger. What happens with the trigger with that person? That's not good. Let's just go somewhere else with, where they don't have those issues. And, totally. It's difficult. So one of the things that is so difficult is to step back from LinkedIn and say, I'm going to build a brand here. Yeah. Just like a company. I'm a brand. People will say, well, I'm just an employee. I don't really need to do that. That's wrong. That's wrong. You may be an employee today, tomorrow, and the next day, but you're a brand when you're getting hired, because the first thing they're going to do when they get your resume is going to go on LinkedIn and see what you've done. And then they're going to Google you and see where else you're appearing and what you're doing. And, you know, if LinkedIn is one thing and then they take a look at Instagram and you're partying on the beach every single day, they're going to get a bigger picture. Right.
Yep.
So there has to be a strategy. You are a brand. Social is fun, but social is a necessary evil, but you really need to work it, which is somewhat why you don't want to be a troll. You don't want to be trolling other people, saying horrible things, even if it's your opinion, which you have every right to have an opinion. You've got to be careful what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a pundit, that's your job. By all means, go at it. But
Yep.
if you're anyone else, you have to watch what you're saying. So you can't troll. You can't be putting up pictures of every single weekend that you've ever had. You can't be telling people you're sick and then posting stuff. I mean, you know, that goes without saying.
Yep.
And LinkedIn needs to be highly professional.
Let's dig in this one. Let's dig this one. How does a LinkedIn have to be highly professional? Define highly professional for me.
To fit everyone's profession. So if you're an English teacher, then you are that persona, build it out. If you are the funny English teacher, build it out.
Okay.
But stick with it. You know,
so
if you're the naked English teacher, build it out. Hey, you know, I'm just
hold on. Those accounts were deleted, Joy. I was assured by Facebook that information was no longer publicly available. So I'm not sure why you're mentioning this on this podcast. Because, come on now.
Someone told me.
You're right. I agree. You need to be professional in LinkedIn, but with a caveat here, because being professional can be fucking boring. Look at the way I'm speaking. Look, this is who I am. I mean, I think it's really important that the people that we see on LinkedIn are the people that we see on video and podcasts and Zoom calls and everything, right? And I think that's why I asked to dig on the word professional, because I would say I'm very professional, but I'd say I'm almost very much myself. And I think you've hit the point exactly. If you're the fun English teacher, that's your brand. If you're the naked English teacher, that's your brand. And I think that's so true. We need to be true to ourselves. That doesn't mean everyone's making everyone laugh. It doesn't mean that. It simply means, and again, this comes down to this idea of authenticity. Saying what you believe. And for me, I probably do. I probably take those risks a little bit more than certainly I'd advise clients starting out on. But I mean, things like International Women's Day, damn right I posted yesterday about it. And damn right I lost followers, as I knew I would. Now, this is the purpose of content, and this comes back to the professional aspect. Our content must attract and repel.
And don't be
First thing people do wrong, try to be vanilla, appeal to everyone, boring, sitting on the fence, not having an opinion. Now, there's things, to me, International Women's Day is important. I've been going on the marches for years. I think for me, it's a personal value that I have and I speak about. I lose followers.
Love your mum.
I love my mum, love my girlfriend, love you, obviously, Joy. I love my clients. It's important. And I think, it's something that I believe in. I knew I'd lose followers yesterday, but it's a risk it's not even a risk. It's fine. If you honestly don't want to work with me because I post about International Women's Day, it's probably better you do unfollow me, because you know what? We're probably going to butt heads at some point. And it's what I always say. We can chase clients and make them believe and make them want to work with us and convince them. Or we can actually tap in when we have attract and repel policy. The ones who are attracted, we don't have to convince people. Why am I going to convince somebody to work with me? Have them aligned with my values, dig my content, dig my personality. For me, I'm quite loud. I look a certain way. For some people, that puts them off, and that's absolutely fine. I have no issue with that because it attracts others. Our content is gravitational.
Once we realize that, we're really not competing with everyone else. Even if in some odd way there was another Joy, that Joy would still not be me. right? And I wouldn't be competing with her. She could be an email marketer for the past 20 years. Okay, we're almost the same. She could be a remote email marketer who works in New York and thinks just the way I am. However, there's going to be differences because
Yes.
unless, I'm cloned somewhere, she's not exactly me. And the point being is we're not competing with everyone else. And once we realize that and say, okay, I had a week and I met with a bunch of prospects and only a few of them worked. It's not only a few of them worked, a few of them worked. Those are the ones that you're going to work with. And if you had attracted the other ones, those would be your headaches. You'd wake up Monday and go, oh my God, I got a meeting with this jerk. Why do you want to work for a jerk? Why do you want to work with a jerk? Why do you want to work for a jerk? Why do you want to have a conversation with a jerk? If you are trying to sell yourself so hard to jerks being somebody who just doesn't fit your profile, doesn't see eye to eye, you've constantly got to say things to them. Second think yourself constantly. I can't say that. I can't say this. I can't do this. What kind of a relationship is that?
No thanks.
Not for me at all. Lots of money. That's blood money, my friend.
Totally. Yes, that needs to be said more. And to pick up on your point as well, Joy, you hit another as I expect no less from you, my sister, but you've hit another really good point. And there could be two Joy Brooks, but they're not the same person. And I think that's so important to remember. It's one of the reasons many people on LinkedIn will not connect with people that they view as competitors because, oh shit, what if people want to work with them instead of me? Big fucking deal. They want to work with them instead of you. Who cares? There's going to be people in their audience who want to work with you instead of the original. This is the way it goes. We attract, repel, we have a community, and there are people who will not want to work with me for X, Y, Z reason. No problem at all. There are people who want to work with me for ABC reason. Perfect. And again, we're not competing against others. It's a scarcity mindset, which again is another buzzword that we see overused. But I think in this case, it's really, really true. Oh, there's so many different people in my niche. That's why we see people switching niches. My God, I've been on LinkedIn for a good few years now. I see some people who seem to switch niche weekly. And it's what? I thought you were, hold on. I thought you were a WordPress expert. Now you're a LinkedIn expert. The LinkedIn experts are my favorites. They are. I love seeing LinkedIn experts pop up. Authorities. I saw one today, one of the best, in his about section, one of the best in the world, one of the best LinkedIn trainers in the world. 15 likes on his post. Well,
he's just starting out.
40,000 followers.
Okay, you go, 40,000 followers.
So it's incredible, and we need to be true. We need to stick to what we do. We need to be true. We need to experiment. And I think that's another thing as well, is we need to be professional on LinkedIn, yet playful. And by playful, it's having fun, enjoying ourselves, enjoying the content that we create, enjoying interacting with those who follow us and leave comments. It's got to be playful. And to your point, no, we're not trolls and we can't be trolls. But if there's one thing I would love a bit more on LinkedIn, it's not trolls. Well, that's not trolls. I'd love disagreement, Joy. Because I
do that all the time.
I know, that's why I love you, though. But the majority of people
invite people to have a conversation. Isn't that the comment section? Or am I just supposed to say, Darren, that's great. Great idea. Oh, love your... Am I just supposed to love you to death every time I see anything you have to say?
But that's what we get on LinkedIn.
I
intentionally try to poke the bear, and it doesn't work. I don't get people coming back to me. Ironically, if I think I was a woman, I probably would. I'd have the mansplainers telling me everything. I've known quite a few women on LinkedIn, and the shit they have to deal with compared to me as a man. Don't tell me there's no sexism in there. It's blatant sexism. It's... Don't even get me started on that.
I think, I've been woman-splained too. So I think that it's just disrespect. Tech is like that. When you get into these, like finance, economics, these really highfalutin kind of spaces where you can do a few things, but once you really start getting into it, there are all these buzzwords and all these things and all these people and places. And if you don't mention the right people, if you don't talk, aren't in the right circles, if you didn't go to the right school, people are going to just disrespect you and begin to explain to you as if, well, you don't understand. you know.
Do you think that's more common for female creators than male creators, though, Joy, on LinkedIn?
I mean, I know that women complain of being mansplained to, and I've been mansplained to.
Yeah.
I've been mansplained to.
I mean, even just that, the mansplaining on the posts. I see it happen on women's posts. Leah Turner being an example, even the queen of LinkedIn, she gets it a lot. Luke Matthews doesn't. Richard van der Blom doesn't. Justin Welsh doesn't. Just to top of the head, top of my head here, things. And
I would say that they get to a level where they're gods, and people don't. I mean, you know.
But Leah still does. Leah still has sexual harassment almost on a daily basis to the poor women.
Would there be women cutting down men?
I don't see it. Do you?
I had someone think I was a man, and they were cutting me down because of my short hair.
Right,
they thought I was a man, so they said during the conversation, he's mansplaining me. So I'm like sitting there, and it didn't occur to me. Literally, I went, like no reaction at all because I'm not a he, right?
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there, and then somebody else in the conversation says they were talking to you, and I'm like, me? They thought you were a guy, and I'm like, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. How screwed up it gets. Mm-hmm. Because you don't know. So I'm assuming you're a guy. And what I basically said was, I don't agree with you. But you took it to mean, he's mansplaining. All I basically said was, I don't agree. This is what I see. And I just listened on to another, we're getting off the subject, but this is fun. I was just listening to another conversation where it was how to say no, how to have a conversation with somebody where you're disagreeing. And they said, don't use the term I disagree because it's a trigger. And I'm like, yeah, but it's terrible. It's horrible. It's succinct. If people, if I say to you, but Darren, I disagree, that doesn't mean, I didn't say you're a fucking idiot, Darren. I said I disagree. So you.
But again, I think, but again, Joy, is it not that verbally we're able to have the nuances and the intonation? Joy, I don't agree. It's different from I don't agree, right? Exactly. We can have that tonality, but in LinkedIn, that shit don't exist. I don't agree cannot be taken any other way.
And when you type it into words, when you type that into words, it's one dimension. You don't get any intonation. You don't know if they're saying, I disagree, let's have a conversation, or I disagree, you're an idiot. You don't know.
And I think most people will default to the latter. It's that trigger.
Absolutely.
And I just don't know why on LinkedIn. And again, we compare it to Twitter, we compare it to Reddit. I mean, the home of trolls. And I'm not at all wanting that to be happening to LinkedIn, but I would love more grown-up discussions. I think we're lacking them. I think we're too quick to, quite rightly, we don't want to offend people, and as we absolutely shouldn't. But there should be a place where we can respectfully disagree without it being made offensive. I made a comment on, it was interesting, Brock, what's his name? Brock Peterson? Brock, Luke Matthews' cousin. And I made a comment on his. He's been trying to get Ryan Reynolds, the actor, to follow him, like him or something. So everybody's been tagging Ryan Reynolds in these things. I mean, it's entertaining to watch. Brock's really coming to LinkedIn as a disruptor and saying, here's your content rules. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'll post a 15-minute video. Don't worry about me. So he was posting something, and it was about Ryan Reynolds and things. And I basically left a comment saying, Brock, what was that I said? Along the lines of, Brock, I used to really like Ryan Reynolds. I thought he was excellent in Deadpool, but it just seems that he's not the guy I thought. He's a dick. You can do better. LinkedIn pulled and banned that comment. I went back and said, second review, please. Look at that again. No, we've upheld that because it's bullying. Now, ironically enough, it says in the TOCs, it does say that criticism of public figures, you're allowed a bit more, because if they're saying things in the public domain, you're able to disagree more. But I thought it was amazing that I wasn't calling Brock a dickhead. I was calling Ryan Reynolds, but again, within the context, it was again. I've done the comment injustice here, but within the structure of the comment, it was funny. It wasn't offensive. Yeah, that violated those policies. And where I get really fucked off is where you see gratuitous, just comments which are lewd, especially on women's posts. Again, I'll come back to this again, and it's fine. It doesn't seem to be a problem. Like women I know who report content quite rightly comments, and they don't get it gets no problem. That doesn't violate the TOCs. So it's weird that you can sexually harass a woman on LinkedIn and it's okay, but you can't call Ryan Reynolds a dickhead. I don't quite get it. You know what I'm coming from.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan, if you're listening, you're still a dickhead. And Joy's not going to censor me, motherfucker.
I had another conversation with somebody who was constantly talking about Bradley Cooper. So Bradley Cooper, right. Ryan Reynolds, it's okay. You know, I have not, other than that other conversation where they thought they mistook me for someone else. I have not had that happen. I have had people, and this is on Facebook, I've had people block me and unfriend me. Okay. And that was when I was attempting to have, and it was stupid, attempting to have political conversations. And I realized no one can have these. No one. I mean, it's really difficult to have them face to face, no less have them on Facebook. So I was like, I think that I'm going to step down from the pulpit. There's no conversation. Politics you can't have, religion you can't have. And then I heard my mother saying, you know, no politics and religion at the dinner table. And I'm like, there's for a reason. People get really upset. So I don't, you know, I haven't had that happen to me. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to women. I think, you know, I'm just wondering if it happens to, if it's happening to a field, an industry, a niche, and women happen to be in it. And so it's a sort of a double whammy where it's not necessarily like email marketing. I can't imagine that somebody's going to tell me, oh, you know, you don't know what you're doing, you dumb chick. Why? Because email marketing is like 99% women. And okay. And when I say that, it sounds a little odd. I haven't done any stats, but it really fits the profile.
Okay.
Email marketing being what it is, I'm saying that it's predominantly women. Sales is men. Mm-hmm. You know, ESPs, sales is men. Management may be men, but the people who are doing the email marketing are women, and that's because they need to multitask.
Interesting. So therefore, if the majority is women, perhaps more or less likely men even in interacting, and when they do, if they're not the expert, then they've got nothing to say.
Yeah, but
I also think, Joy, you're spiky. You're like me, and I love that about you. You're spiky. You say your truth is a polite way. You tell people what you think, you know, and there's quite proudly. And I think it's something that many, especially on LinkedIn, wouldn't even attempt to do. But again, I'm spiky. I don't receive the same kind of crap that I know other men do. Men, women, let's just talk in general here. Creators. I don't tend to get any crap on my profile. As I say, I want people to disagree with me, but I don't know if it's because I'm that little bit spiky in my content. You're spiky in your content. I'm not sure if it is, again, within that positioning and, well, being experts in our fields. I mean, knowing what we're talking about. I'm not sure how much that might detract the more trolls kind of things, the more, yeah.
You know, as I said, it's the type of work. So being a coach, we all know that the coach industry is it's, you know, it's just like, it's like a LinkedIn coach. Or what kind of a coach are you? And where did you go to school to become a LinkedIn coach? You went to the school of LinkedIn, you know, university. Like, people can make fun of you immediately. Mm-hmm. And it's simple to do that. So the industry, the coaching industry is very easy to make light of.
Yep.
there are very talented people in there. Those are teachers, right? But the industry is rife, just like teaching is rife with people who really are not good teachers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They usually burn out. They can't compete. They can't take. They can't. They have a job. They have a job at either at a school, at a university. They can't handle it. So they thought they were a teacher, but they're not. So a coach is a very unique um, um, profession.
Yeah.
And then there are all
I
these
would also
different coaches.
see. I'd
Speaking
also
coach.
segue into that as well, because I do come out from a unique, not unique at all. There's nothing unique in what I'm about to say, but having come from having an undergraduate in English literature and a postgraduate in education, 10 years experience in the classroom, yeah, I am a teacher. I understand pedagogy. I know how people learn. But I would also argue massively, and I think good teachers are a combination of teachers and coaches,
Yes.
because there are teachers who know their shit but cannot control a classroom, cannot give that knowledge onto these children, cannot make them teenagers, cannot make them passionate about the shit they've got to learn when they'd rather be out doing what teenagers do, right?
Yes.
But those teachers who can make them passionate, make them give a shit, that's rare. I've not met, unfortunately, many of them. It's why I ended up getting out of the teaching profession, because I was tired of working till 9, 10 o'clock every night for my kids, creating lessons that were fucking brilliant, different. Yet you've got your 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. teacher printing out lessons from the internet, not giving a shit, not having relationships with the kids. I was there. I was one of the last teachers to leave every single day. Why? I had a fucking queue of kids at my door,
Right,
coming to speak to me, wanting advice or whatever it is, whether it be, Mr. Gibb, I lost my virginity at the weekend and I'm feeling really uncomfortable about. Okay, well, fuck me. An uncomfortable conversation to have as a 29, 20, 30-year-old man with a 16, 17-year-old girl. But what an incredible thing that somebody feels comfortable enough that they want to talk to you about. I mean, that's amazing. So I think, and especially in the learning process, I wouldn't stand and lecture. There'd be always activities, group work, single work, paired work to be getting on with, going around the classroom, looking at the groups, having that one, maybe taking one of them out for a little bit of one-on-one. That's coaching. A lot of it is building them up, giving them that confidence. At the same time, the coaching is when they're being a little bastard, letting them know they're being a little bastard, and how does that affect others? Well, so there's so much coaching within teaching with the good teachers. So for me, I feel that transition now. I'm a little uncomfortable with the idea of being a coach. I think I'm a teacher. I think when I create content, when I'm doing webinars, when I'm in group calls, I think I'm more of a teacher. I think I'm able to teach. I've got the skills. I know how to impart that knowledge. But at the same time, I know when to put an arm around somebody and give them some love. And alternatively, when to give them a kick up the arse because they're just not doing shit.
right.
For me, it's that kind of combination. But back to your point, yeah, we've got a lot of people. For me, it's equivalent in the teaching world of somebody doing a 3-week TEFL course to be a language teacher, and now they're a teacher. Well, no, you're not. Come on, who are you kidding on here? I think it's similar with the coaching thing. I think we've got people that are talented in what they do, and then I'm a coach. I also think within the mental health area, we've got real problems with this coaching at the moment. There's many people who are lovely, well-meaning, believe they're changing lives and quite possibly can change lives, but don't have the knowledge, the background, the qualifications to really do it. I worry there's damage being done by coaching. I worry that by clever marketing, which we can do, there's somebody, and we're going to talk about Chat GPT. Jesus, that's a real concern in the mental health area, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, literally having a coaching session and the dickheads typing questions into Chat GPT and seeing what it says, right? I mean, quite feasibly could happen. That's my concern with the coaching industry and where we are on LinkedIn. And there needs to be some sort of regulation. That could mean I can no longer possibly be called a coach. Sorry, I'll call myself a teacher, no problem at all. But we need to be careful.
Yeah, I cringe a little bit when I hear conversations and everybody.
You're hearing a lot of conversations here, Brooks. Are you? Have you got a big trumpet at the wall? Is this what it is?
No, I'm a troll. when I hear conversations that people say things, and it ends up being highly narcissistic. It's like it's all about me.
Hmm.
I'm more important than anyone else. I need to make myself happy. That's okay. Obviously, you need to be happy, but it's not all about me. And when I make everything all about me, I am disconnected from everything because it's all about me. It's how I feel. It's what I want to do, what I want to say. And I don't care that I just hurt you because I'm feeling good about it.
Hmm.
And I haven't even stepped out of my good feeling to realize what I just said was terrible. Oh, it made me feel good. I had to say that.
Yep.
And a lot of the ways or the books that I read, they'll say things like that, and I'll say, well, don't. No, it's not right. It makes me, it really disconnects me, and I fear. That's somewhat why I fear coaching because I need to shop for a coach when
Of
I
course.
feel that there's a connection there. It works, and if somebody's just validating me, or if they're just that's their shtick, they're just validating, it's not going to work because I don't
No.
need to be validated. I am already validated. I'm here. I got a problem. I know I got a problem. I'm coming to you. I don't want you to tell me I got a problem. I know that's why I'm here. Let's move on to the next.
That's
The
established
problem may
already.
be
We're on the
me.
call.
The problem may be me, and I don't need to tell you to tell me you're good. You're allowed to feel this way. You're supposed to be vulnerable. It's good.
Joy, just believe in yourself, sister.
Believe in myself. Like, okay, I think I believe in myself. Yeah, definitely believe in myself. I'm definitely believing myself,
Oh.
but I still have a problem. So, um,
I think as well that I think that also comes down to a lot of what you're saying is just it's absolutely spot on. And I think it's again going back to the world of LinkedIn, of social selling, of personal branding, of all these things, content creation. When we do have such advice about believe in yourself, be authentic, just post. That's a great bit of advice. Just post. I'll post something racist, see how that goes. I mean, come on, just post. Come on now, you need strategy. It's not good enough, right? But there's almost, it's built up to be this is easy and you can do it and everyone can do it. And without strategy, you're never going to be able to. You might hit lucky and go viral. But again, I've seen people go viral and then a week later, they're down to 5 likes on their post. So on LinkedIn, that virality. And again, when you go viral, that's another thing I think quickly to address. If you're watching this, listening to this, and you're thinking, geez, Darren sounds like he knows his stuff. I bet he could make me go viral. Yeah, I could. But you know what? I'll never do it for you. Going viral is a headache. Going viral is not nice. Going viral, quite simply, I would far rather have 100 likes, 70 comments on a post and identify potential good prospects and clients than having 5,000 likes in a post full of people from different niches. It confuses the algorithm. The algorithm ends up sending the content to the wrong people who actually just like that one post you made which went viral. Here, tell you what, if you want to go viral, here's how you do it. Number one, hit upon a vulnerability, a real vulnerability that makes you sad. It's got to be a real life story. Number two, you've got to be at the lowest moment of your life. Number three, there's a realization that you can do it better. Number four, you're not there yet, but by God, you're getting close. There you go. There's your 4-step viral code. Cheap. Go for it. It doesn't do us any favors.
right.
We must be speaking to those who we need to. There's no point as a LinkedIn coach that I've got some guy in, I don't know, some guy in Zimbabwe who's a doctor looking at my content. He doesn't need my help. I mean, it doesn't make sense. So there's so many things. Go viral. Believe in yourself. Just post. Talk about vulnerability. Yeah, great, but and what?
And what?
It's
And what?
damaging.
I went viral by mistake. I was
Right.
listening to some podcast with, I believe the fellow's name is Eric Weinstein, who's like a mathematician in Boston. And he
Right.
was having a conversation and he was talking about some stuff and he mentioned Skinwalker Ranch, which is like one of my fascinations. That's in Utah. It's
Hmm.
a UFO thing. So things happen.
Right. We're not talking Roswell here. We're
Yes,
talking.
yes.
We are.
Skinwalker
Okay.
Ranch is in Utah. So it's a large ranch. It's a large place in Utah. It's been owned by about 2 or 3 people, and wild things happen there. Metaphysical
Okay.
things, UFOs, um, lots of things happen. There's an actual TV show on about Skinwalker Ranch. So
Okay. I need to check this out.
so he mentioned Skinwalker Ranch, and I'm like, and now I'm drawn to him. I have to look him up. So I look him up on Twitter. I find that he actually tweeted about something. So I tweet back and I'm like, wowza, Skinwalker Ranch. I went viral. It was like that, here's Twitter going, wow! And I'm back down to
Yeah.
here. I'm like, okay, I went viral.
Yep.
But I can't, how long can I, what am I supposed to become, a ufologist now? No,
Totally.
no,
Totally.
it's not me.
Doesn't
That's not
serve
my
anything.
thing. But the fact you don't know when you're going to go viral. Obviously one of the ways to go viral is to sit there and watch what is trending and have an answer. Answer only those. So
Yeah.
the person who wants to get in touch with Ryan Reynolds needs to take a look at anything that anybody's ever saying about Ryan Reynolds, whatever, and just keep on going down. And eventually Ryan Reynolds is going to answer them.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Lot of big waste of time if you're trying to set up a business, though. I tell you, there's better things to
well,
focus on.
unless you want him to sell you cookies, I don't know.
I've heard Ryan Reynolds does love cookies. To be fair, he's a big fan of
I think
cookies.
it's
So.
peppermint ice cream. I'm not sure. Mint, get
Ooh,
it?
very
Right.
nice. Get it? I liked it.
Yeah. He owns a company called Mint.
Right. So you've gone peppermint. That's very
Peppermint.
good.
Yeah. There you go.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice, Joy.
I have. And these are very, very low. Oh, I hate to use this term, low-hanging fruit, because they really are low-hanging fruit. I have connected with celebrities on Twitter, but they're very low.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about Ryan Reynolds. I'm talking about very low. Maybe an author. If I read a book
Mm-hmm.
and I love the book, and then I go on Twitter or whatever, Facebook, and they're there, and I connect with them, and they reply. I'm in heaven. I'll read garbage from them from that point forward.
See, yeah, I like Kendra Hall as a storytelling kind of expert. I like her books. I like the way she frames it. I like the way she views it. And I can't remember what it was. I had a post and a comment, and somebody tagged her in it anyway. And I got a like on the comment. That's what it was, just a wee like. And it was like, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? I was like,
she likes me. She likes me.
It wasn't a love heart, but I like her. I'll take a thumbs up. Thanks,
I'll take a like. Yeah, but
yeah.
It is an odd world where we all at social, we all think of ourselves as celebrities. I mean, really, that's really it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. We all want to be stars. We all want to be famous. We might want to be the most famous email marketing person in the world. But that's really what it comes down to. I recognize that immediately because I'm a control freak, which means I want to be controlled. So I am the email marketer who is in control. And I realize now that's in another world, isn't it? Because there's no such thing. You're not in control. In this world, as an email marketer or as anything, as a pimple on your face, you're not in control. So I realize that one of the things for me on social is that devil in the back of my head that every once in a while surfaces and says, you can be viral, you could be famous, you could be, and I'm like, shut the hell up. I don't want to be famous. I really don't. So, it's like it's human nature to want to be liked, but once you're there, it's not a nice place to be. Mm-hmm. So what? Everyone likes you. Again, you've got all these people liking you. None of them are like you. You can't relate to these people. So, what is it? Are you getting paid for likes? All right. Well, that's an interesting job.
Yeah, that would be an interesting job. Oh my God. Yeah, it is. I think it's also though. I mean, I don't agree on LinkedIn. I think I'm not. I don't hear what you're saying about being famous. I think about yeah, you do want as many connections. You want that follower. That we don't look at the vanity metrics, but we do. It's a dopamine. We've been programmed that way from the birth of social media to react in this way. So although I always say likes don't actually even matter, it's the comments. Yes, the comments are the most powerful metric to be getting reach in LinkedIn, but more so than take that out the bracket, it's human beings who are spending a minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes 3 minutes reading and then responding to your post. And it's that connection which is the most powerful part of LinkedIn.
Yes.
But again, I think it's symptomatic of society, especially I think if we look at other social networks, we look at the likes of Instagram being an obvious one or TikTok. Yes, 100% everybody wants to be famous. And it's consumerism, it's neo-capitalism, it's social media and how it's being used.
I said, imagine getting paid for likes. At TikTok, that's exactly what you do.
Yeah.
And it's set up that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And only these kind of big companies are ever going to really profit from it, and the amount of lives I think that can be ruined in the process is pretty huge. I mean, we are off topic here. We'll bring it back to LinkedIn, but I think with LinkedIn, that difference is perhaps because we're not posting about our lunch and our breakups. It's gone that way a little bit, I understand, but because we're not, I think there's perhaps there's a barrier in there. LinkedIn has a barrier. You're held back to a certain extent. Again, going back to Ryan Reynolds being a dickhead, that gets censored. So there's a lot there theoretically, and there's a lot of censoring going on there. It's I'm not gonna reference, or I'm trying not to reference the 45th president of the United States of America in this one.
One,
but
2, 3. I wonder who could be 4. Well, his downfall was the fact that he couldn't shut up, and he couldn't shut up, and he didn't.
Yep.
He didn't know. He really, oddly enough, you'd think he just did not know when to say it, how to say it, to whom to say it to, and get the effect that he wanted to. Talk about being a narcissist.
But that's what people loved about him.
Yeah, well,
it's a little bit like it's Boris Johnson's another one.
Yes.
Trump and Boris Johnson are two peas in a pod. And again, we had and I'm talking from an European British side, because obviously being Scottish but living in Spain, we had Trump come in. I'm Scottish, believe it or not. We had Trump come in and what? We had Brexit happen in 2015. Then Trump shocked everyone, came in 2016. Then we get Johnson coming in. Now, the British Parliament, if it's meant to be the bastion of democracy, and it's the democracy that everybody else looks up to in the world, as it claims, I don't know any prime minister who could... There's public stories about him receiving oral sex on his couch in his office in the House of Commons.
Well,
these stories are well known.
The 43rd president of our... I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Be unique. Do something different, for goodness sake.
But there's a great example. What happened to Clinton? Impeachment. I mean, it seriously affected his career.
Yes.
This barely even makes the papers here. And Trump's the same. No matter what these individuals do, it's the cult of personality.
Yes,
I think social media has helped with this, because you get those shareable viral minutes. Because we are at a stage where it's kind of, well, what have politicians done for us? There's so much anger. And these people are drawn towards them because they represent change. They represent maverick. And with the UK, it was Nigel Farage. He was the principal driver in getting the UK out of Europe. Nigel Farage, who wants Britain to be for the British. And, immigrants, no. This is Nigel Farage, who has a German wife, whose 2 children speak German with his wife, and children have a fucking German passport immediately after Brexit happened. So, come on, these people are charlatans, they're snake oil salespeople. Trump, Boris, they're anti-authority, they're anti-establishment. They are the establishment, and people just can't see that.
Very wild and unique situations.
They will be studied for years to come, how incredible. And I don't know how we got there, but the cult personality, social media, everything, I'm sure has contributed. But
I don't know. I don't know. Would first of all, Trump would have never been on reality TV, right? So he was a reality star. He's a real estate mega mogul. That's what he is, right?
Yep.
He can swindle. I mean, wheel and deal. That's what he does, right? That's what he does. He knows the bottom line. He knows how to orchestrate the bottom line. That's what he does. Okay.
Yep.
You know, there were people that hoped that he would be able to do that to the United States. But he didn't keep his mouth shut. And I'm just taking everybody there. He didn't shut up. And and in the end, who wanted a reality TV host as the president of the United States? I'd rather have Obama. At least, you know, he understood social and he manipulated it, but he manipulated it professionally. See,
go with that.
You know, the reality TV host Trump, he wants to control everything. He wants to wheel and deal. He wants to buy and sell it. It's his. Talk about it. Talk about a narcissist. He is a narcissist. It's all about Trump. Yep. That's the problem.
Yep. Elements of psychopath in there as well. Yes, I hope I don't offend anybody saying that. But,
maybe I'm winning people. Like, oh, thank God Joy's saying this. But the truth is, that was his problem, and that's the scary part. That's the scary part, and that is the scary part of social. Now, LinkedIn, you'd think people would be like, it's professional. Here we go with that word again, professional. Let's not take it to reality TV. And that's with these stories and these vulnerabilities. Let's not go there. I don't want to see your big butt there. I don't want to do that. Please don't do that to LinkedIn, because it is your branding. It is your resume. It is the way businesses are doing business these days. If we destroy it, let's talk about.
I think it's a balance. I think it's a balance, Joy. I think storytelling, as much as we talk about buzzwords, Jesus, there's not much of a bigger buzzword than storytelling in the last 5 years. Yes. You know, personal branding was the big thing prior to that. And now they're, especially on LinkedIn, right?
Authentic is another big one.
Yeah, authentic, Jesus, authentic versus authority. But I think we do need to share stories. And I think naturally stories 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, come with vulnerability, come with that complication. I think it's right that we do share these stories. I think it's right that we do show people that we are like them and they are like us, 100%. But it's a balance. And if you're putting out 5 sob stories a week, I'll tell you what it is even more so, Joy. It's people who don't understand storytelling, and that's not their fault. Not their fault at all. Yeah, but they've been told by the gurus, you must use storytelling. So they attempt storytelling, but naturally, people find that their stories aren't very interesting because they've lived them themselves. It's boring.
But
it's only boring because you've lived it yourself. Yeah, exactly. But they try to sex it up a little bit with emotion. And they go all in on the emotion. And as somebody who teaches storytelling, that's something that 9 times out of 10, the first draft, there's 0 emotion in it. I mean, none. Just thoughts, feelings, but no emotion in there, right? Then we get the other on the another side of the scale where it's just gushing, and it's just, you know, I was running late for the office. I just wanted to die.
Okay.
Really? Really?
Yeah,
That you wanted to die?
Yes.
For being 5 minutes late? You wanted to die? You were, come on. And I think people over embellish this vulnerability, this emotion to appear more interesting or to appear more, this will get people. There's also a massive bit behind it. I said earlier on, Rewind, if you want the 4 steps to going viral in the most easy bullshit way, people are tapping in on this, hoping to go viral. I think there's this as well. My sad story will get me viral. Why? Because it has before, but it's been done in a genuine place. Whereas I
Right.
think people are trying to construct stories. People are trying to construct their stories to fit their narrative, right? Fuck the stories. It's the narrative that it's about. It's you, your lived experiences, and being true. We're talking about authenticity. Tell the fucking truth. Simple.
You know,
Simple.
it's building content is not easy. You do need to be creative, and
Yes.
if you find that you're a solopreneur and you're thinking, I'm going to become a solopreneur, you've got to be creative. And if you're not a solopreneur, go back to work. Find an employer and stay in that job.
Oh, Brooksy, hold on a minute.
I'm saying that there are a lot of things that are that define a solopreneur.
If you're not if you don't have creativity, go back to work.
If you're not creative, if you are not able to recreate yourself, and then stay the course, manage it yourself, at least in the beginning. All of these things, you've got to be somewhat of a business acumen. You've got to be able to, well, this is not sustainable. It's going to work for 2 months and then it's going to go haywire. You know, you've got to be creative. And if you can't,
I agree.
Yeah, you can't do all those things. There's nothing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with traditional work. I'm saying that I'm a maverick. I'm too creative. I'm constantly dreaming up of solving a problem that doesn't even exist, but I've solved it. There you go. And when it happens, I'll be like, oh, you know what? I thought of that last month. I got it already. Here it is. I'm appreciated at work because, oh, don't talk to her. She's going to risk manage it to death. Just have somebody else do it. Right? And I get it. I understand this. I did not understand why I was not rising at work. And that was because during the review sessions, I would tell people, well, you know what? I'd like to be a writer. And they'd be like, you're in finance. What do you say you want to be a writer for? And then I wouldn't get the promotion. Well, they asked me what I wanted to be. I told them I was honest. Well, guess what? These are the things that I started adding up. And I thought to myself, I'm okay in math. I'm a writer. I can create. I have aspirations. Wait a minute. I don't fit the mold here. I'm never going to amount to anything in this world, in this traditional world. And it just happened that I kept on getting kicked in the butt when I finally said, okay, you know what? The road tastes a little salty. I'm tired of it. I'm not going down the road anymore. The next time I get kicked, I'm going on my knees and I'm standing right the heck up. I'm not face down in the road anymore. You can't do that to me. If I can't control how people treat me, I can certainly control how I react to when people treat me that way.
Jesus Christ, get that bit cut and put out. Let's get that bit go viral. When you said that, that's why I said, hold on, Brooksy, let's step back. I needed to think what you were saying there. If you don't have creativity and you want to be a solopreneur, go back to the office. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah. Or outsource it to people who are creative, but that's not really your business and that's not really a solopreneur. Solopreneurship is tough. And I was going to flip it around and say, well, because you were saying you need to have business acumen and things like this. So I was going to flip it around and say, can you have business acumen and be successful marketing on LinkedIn? Yeah, you probably could. If you've got business acumen, you probably set up a business solopreneur. You can make a few bucks, definitely. Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Is it enough? Yeah. Creative, though. If you're creative, I came in here with, I've never run a company before. I've never had a business. I've always worked for people. Okay, I've been self-employed when I was being a language teacher, but business-wise, I don't have an MBA for Christ's sake, but I was creative. And I'm a risk taker as well, and where you and I, where the maverick side comes to both of us. And yeah, I was a risk taker. I was creative. I cut my teeth in Instagram for 2 years, though, whilst I was doing shitty jobs that I didn't like. I built 13,000 followers teaching English tips. I remember saying it at the time. My friends saying to me, "The fuck you doing that for, man? Seriously, you're going to make money out of it?" Hope so, yeah. But are you? No. Over 2 years, I made 0 cents. 0 cents. 30,000 followers, 0 cents. Didn't know how to. The conversion, I didn't know. But I always remember saying to him, yeah, but you know what? See, learning how to use Photoshop for photo editing. See, know how to use Premiere Pro for video editing. See, knowing how to just push that post button when I'm feeling like a dick or whatever. These are skills that are transferable, and they absolutely are. And it's these skills plus creativity are what got me on LinkedIn. But going back to what I said right at the beginning, I quickly realized that my creativity actually wasn't enough. I needed strategy. I needed to know
Right.
what to do.
Exactly.
When the two come together, we're able to be successful. And I think as well, with being a solopreneur, there's few jobs I think you have to be as thick-skinned for. I mean, there is more, especially in the first year, my God, a lot more rejection than
Yeah.
acceptance. A lot more,
And
nope,
sometimes you're
nope,
rejecting
nope,
yourself
nope.
because you're saying, another buzzword, imposter syndrome. But you go through a
Mm,
lot of like, what the heck am I
mm,
doing?
mm.
You know, and there are days where you're like, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. And it's remembering those days and knowing it, But that first year of solopreneurship, I wouldn't trade it for anything, to be honest. But, and this is where, if there's people listening who have been doing this game for 2 months, 3 months, and then go and hire a VA, you'll be out of business in the next 7 months. The reason, quite simply, being it took me 2.5 years to get a VA, almost 3 years, sorry, to get a VA. I waited too long. And I got to the point where I could see if I don't have somebody in this business with me, it's growing out of control. It's a 6-figure business I've grown. It's growing out of control within a year. It's going out of control. So I had to. But I wouldn't trade. I said I'm talking nonsense here. I'm arguing with myself here. I wouldn't trade it. But the experiences, the pitfalls,
Mhm.
the having to pick yourself off that road and really dust yourself down, because that salt, that stings wounds. Do you know what I mean? Talking about tasting salty.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing, the hours spent getting to know people.
Mm-hmm.
I, a couple of months ago, started building an email list again. Should have done it a year ago. It's up to 450 people now. I just did a $97 product, ended up over a 2-week campaign, ended up closing at 4.5K. Brilliant. So happy with that. But what was more interesting is when I looked at the open rate. So I looked at everyone who had opened the emails. I could tell you 90% of those people. I recognized their names. I could tell you more or less what kind of niche they're in. And that's what I got from that first year, 3 years, I suppose, of solopreneurship, really getting to know my audience, know people, tracking people who are cold, warm, hot for leads, these sorts of things. And it's this. And when people instantly get a VA because solopreneurship's tough and they just get a VA immediately, they miss out on so many of these things. And I think that's really important. So creativity, social skills are a huge thing. And they can
So
be like creativity to an extent can be taught to an
yes,
extent. Social skills, again, to the extent can be taught. We can learn this. If you're not creative, I don't think we're saying, Joy, you can't be a solopreneur,
right,
but there's a lot of work to put in there.
right. And being a solopreneur, essentially what you're serving is somewhat is an intellectual property. I mean, I'm a little different because I consider myself a solopreneur, but I'm email marketing. So I actually have something very, very specific. It's not like, well, it sort of looks like this and you can sort of do this and you can, no, I mean, there are things you have to do to get the damn email out the door. You can't, say I'm an email marketer. Well, how many emails do you send? None. But I talk a lot about it. Well, do you send any? No, I've never sent one. Right? I actually send emails. So the thing with being a solopreneur, essentially, it's like this. It's not a vague intellectual property. It's a very specific intellectual property. You're a teacher, and I didn't use the term coach. You're a teacher, and you're showing people very specific steps to get them at LinkedIn and get recognized and sustainable over time. So it's
Yeah.
not like just do this and you'll get there. And oh, what are you going to do next year? I don't care.
Mhm.
Ka-ching for me next year, and ka-ching for me after that. You're showing people, you're giving them, you're giving them the Rolodex of your mind. Like, this is it. This is what you do.
Yep.
And it costs some money to get there. I'm not giving it to you for free. I had somebody
Of course
tell me
not.
a story that they were mentoring, and the mentee eventually said, well, just give me your Rolodex. Like, we don't have to do this anymore. Just give me your Rolodex. The intellectual property was that person's network. They wanted that person's network. That's what they bought when they went into the mentoring session. They wanted that person's life. Sorry. Talk about intellectual property. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
In many cases, that is the concept of somebody that goes into a coaching. They want to be that coach.
Mm-hmm.
So many times when people buy the books, whatever, whatever name those, I don't even know big coaches' names, but a lot of people, you know a lot of coaches' names. People want to be that person.
Yep. Yep.
They,
Yep.
they see that person's life because they're always telling about themselves on LinkedIn or whatever, and they're like, oh, I read the book, and they're so smart. You're smart.
Totally.
Again, if you're going to be that solopreneur, you've got to realize that you're that smart, and you've
Yep.
got to be able to literally, um, you have to benefit on your own smarts. You have to exploit yourself,
Yep.
not someone else.
Yep.
Exploit yourself. Like, I can do this. Other people can't. Honestly.
And it's also on top of that, which I think a lot of, I'm not convinced how many solopreneurs remember or realize, is that look, your first post is going to be your worst post, and there's always going to, you're constantly building. The more you write, it's like anything. The more you do something, the better you become, and it's the same with solopreneurship. But I think that one thing that's really important to remember as well, that solopreneurs must be learning every day.
Right, right.
Every day they're learning something new. Every single day, it must be. It must. We talk about the 1% for the compounding. It is true. I'm sorry, it is true. But we must be learning. Let's talk about you, Joy. Email marketing. Bet that's changed a bit in the last 20
It's not
years.
only
I mean,
that,
come
every
on.
client I work for is different. So,
Right.
I could work for two companies that are both in food. It could be the same product. They're
Yep.
direct competitors. They'll say, well, what does my competitor do? I know you used to work for them. What do they do? It has nothing to do with it. You have a different audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, unless you stole their list, we're talking to different people. And, hopefully, you have positioned yourself with a different mission. Two people can make socks. Bamba makes socks, and they have this particular position, and that's the voice they have. So you're speaking in that voice. So I could have been working for another company, the shoe company, and they're like, oh, well, I want to do what Bamba's doing. Well, you can't, because you don't have that mission. So
But again, I think for solopreneurs, though, and again, I can completely identify. I felt this myself, that when you're starting, especially when you're starting out, right? It's important to go back, buzzword imposter syndrome. But I mean, you're constantly questioning yourself. You're constantly thinking, well, how am I an expert? Am I an expert? Well, they look like an expert and they've got X thousand followers and they're able to say this and blah, blah, blah. And there's all these questions, and it's natural. It's natural for the first 6 months of your LinkedIn profile, when you start using it, to be bland and to be vanilla and to sit on the fence and to really produce no content that really shows anything of you, your values, your
you're
skills, your
growing into
experience,
it.
your
You're,
knowledge.
you're
Nothing.
growing into it.
Got to go into it.
And
That's
you
it.
really need to grow into it. And you
Yep.
have to feel that happening, where you're finally like,
Yes,
oh, I get it now. That's who I am. That's who I
that's
am.
it. And at the same time, though, Joy, at some point, it could be a week, it could be 6 months, it can't be longer than a year, please. But at some point, you've got to make that decisive decision. And that's it. Like, this is who I am. And actually, I've got a wee community around me who seem to like what I do. I'm going to really start speaking my mind, and we'll see which of them stay, which of them leave, because you're going to bring more in. Once you've got that 500, 1,000 connections, you're able to go into different people's networks really easily, right? But it's difficult, it's challenging, but again, it's about strategy. For me, LinkedIn's really simple. Let me break down LinkedIn. It's exactly what I teach. There's 3 stages. Number 1, community building.
Right.
You've got to build a community with the right people. You've got to find the right people.
I call them
You've got to spend time.
grassroots. You need your grassroots.
Grassroots. Love it. Number 2, content creation through storytelling. I use a lot of storytelling in my content. The content creation's got to be good. So what does content creation mean? Well, on different platforms, it looks like different things. But for LinkedIn, you've got your personal stories. You've got your engagement posts. You've got polls, carousels, videos, text only, text plus image, right? So you need to understand how to utilize each of these different types. We look at polls. I don't know how much money I've made from polls.
Polls, there's
gold in the polls. Amazing. But with strategy, without the strategy, it's just people clicking a button and you going, oh, wow, 84% of people thought that. When there's strategy behind it, as you know, and obviously through the course, there's money there. Right. Likewise, with what I like to call reach out posts, PDF carousels, everyone's fucking making them, but no one's fucking selling from them. Yes, a carousel is there to show you and position you as the expert. After reading your carousel, I expect to have more knowledge and be able to use that knowledge to have a small win if I implement it. That's what I need from you. That's what it should represent. But from your perspective, from your side, the solopreneur, that's got to lead to a call or something. That can't just be, here's this amazing value and that's it. Yes, we give amazing value, but what's the purpose of that value? Sometimes it is just to give amazing value, and we should do that. We absolutely should. I give away parts of my course I talk about on LinkedIn. No problem with that. As I always say, you can follow me every day on LinkedIn for 2 years and you'll more or less get my whole course, and you can work out the rest out yourself.
And I've done that. God, it's a lot. Not you, but I've done that.
Yeah. But my God, isn't it easier just to connect with that coach, pay that money, because it's an investment in ourselves, and get it done with. Here's the shortcut. Boom, done. It's easy. But people have got to be given this value. They've got to have strategy. And that's where most people fall down on LinkedIn, and it's not their own fault. But a strategy cannot be following, as brilliant as he is, it cannot be following Justin Welsh and his 500,000 followers with what he says. Because Justin's actually very clever in his marketing. And it appears he's giving value, but actually it's really quite difficult to do these steps without purchasing X, Y, Z, working, and so on. So people have got to do that, show that value, give it away. And value is another buzzword which has become bullshit. Value for me simply means I can read it and achieve something.
It's a call to action.
It's a call to action. A small win.
You're the director, and you've got all your actors on the stage. Yeah. And you're basically saying, you do this, you do that, and you shut up. Go. Right? Now, if everybody speaks all at once, there's no impact. Yeah. The audience is sitting there going, what? So
totally.
You're saying, I want to make everyone cry. That's what I want to do. The call to action is, okay, scene, make them cry.
Yeah.
Right? So that's it's really, that's your strategy. People seem to think that, I don't know what to do. Say to yourself, it's Saturday, and you start thinking about what are you going to do with content for the week. Say, what do I want to do this week? I don't know. I want to make them cry. Okay. How do you make people cry? Babies, dogs, I don't know, sad things. There you go. Write those things down and start, I'm going to do one in a picture. I'm going to tell a story with another. That's really all that it is. Come up with a theme for the week. That's what I do. I mean, I don't do it on a daily basis because I'd go nuts. Because honestly, it takes about 5 hours to do my LinkedIn content. And I'm not kidding. Wow. It takes about 5 hours. And yes, I use ChatGPT. How do I use it? Because I am using it to research. I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to do this. Give me some information about this. And it does. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. How about this? Oh, wait, what was that it said? And there you go. Write it down. Now it's my brainstorming tool. But
totally, as it should be.
As it should be. I was talking to ChatGPT the other day about my dad, and it was able to give me a little information about him. I was very surprised, but then it shut up and said, you'll have to contact the Census Bureau for any more information. But It had public information about him.
How
And how did
interesting.
I should only say, I was thinking about doing content, what I could write a story about. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask ChatGPT about this because I want to see how much information it has on my dad. Because my dad was in World War II and he was a Signal Corps photographer. That's public information. And I wanted to see if ChatGPT knew that. And it did.
Wow.
I had to correct it a few times. He was coming up with, oh, and he died in California. I'm like, no, Dad did not die in California. Like, ChatGPT did not die in California. Check the record. Oh, you were right. I'm sorry. You died in New York. Thank you. Like, where the heck did you come up with California? In any case, the point being is that with content, it's not as difficult as you make it appear, but you do need to be creative because you need to be able to say, this week it's going to be red and I'm going to do theme on red. All right. What am I going to do? Okay. What does red mean to me? Red roses, red river. Go on it. You have to do that. And then you're riffing on yourself and you've got your content.
Again, I'll go back to the point. Creativity is great. Theme of the week, red, whatever it is, lovely. But again, if you're not using it strategically, if you're not using that creativity to create content that appeals to your audience,
red,
that positions you as an expert.
What does red imply? Exactly. Is it my business?
Exactly.
Fortunately for me, my strategy is really, and it seems to be it's almost like laissez-faire, but it's top of mind. I want people to recognize my name.
Of course. That must be the number one aim of everybody. Yeah.
And when I say the reason I'm giving away my strategy now, the strategy is I want people to recognize my name because in a month I'm going to do a call to action to sign up for something. So at that point in time, I want people to know who the heck I am. And I want them to know what I stand for, any idiosyncrasy that I may have, who follows me, who doesn't follow me, who I know, who I don't know. And so at that point in time, when I'm like, call to action, sign up, they're like, oh, I know who she is. I'm signing up. Mm-hmm. So there is that long term, the short term. Okay. I laid it out. I was like, what am I trying to do here? What is it that I'm trying to do on LinkedIn? I'm like, I need people to recognize me. Okay. So set to it, woman. And then what's the 1 month strategy? What's the 2 month strategy? What's the 3 months? Literally, in my head, I've got all it played out. And you have to do this. If you don't know the answer, you can say, I don't know what I'm going to do in 6 months. You have to think about that, but you basically say, I know what I'm going to do until 5 months. So come the 4th month, I better know what I'm doing in the 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. And it is that. And it's that, content batching can be really, really useful. I'm trying not to, I like on the fly. For me, a LinkedIn post is 5-10 minutes. Boom. It's done. It's out there, Again, I've been doing this. I know people will be listening. You're looking and thinking, motherfucker, honestly, seriously. But yeah, I'm 5-10 minutes. Boom. It's off. It's good. But against experience, it's that muscle that's been trained so many times and so on and so forth. But yeah, with that, having that strategy, batching in content, but again, the strategy. What's the outcome of this post? Too many people post just for posting's sake. And that's a problem when we hear another buzzword, be consistent, consistency. If you're consistently posting shite, if that's your consistency, that's what you become known for. It's like ChatGPT. The experts like to say rubbish in, rubbish out. I like to say shite in, shite out. If you put shite in, you get shite out. It's as simple as that. And I think that's important for people to remember as well when creating content and being consistent. Consistent isn't 7 times a week. Consistent is 3-4 times a week. Just being there, consistently showing up with value, with quality. I would far rather my clients showed up 3 or 4 times a week with posts that their audience just love. It shows who they are, shows their value, show their skills, show their knowledge, shows why these individuals should work with them. That's what I teach people to do. And then the final part, as I said, we've got community building, the content creation, then the conversion. Right. How do you go from a post to a DM onto a call, close them and get a new client? these are all the skills that need to be done. And again, going back to the strategy, it's got to be on point. You've got to know what you're doing. What's the objective of this post? And to your point, it might be to book a call. It might be to make someone cry. That's a horrible thing to do, but it might be an emotional. You want to create this emotional effect upon your audience. No problem. I teach Monday and Friday are engagement posts. If it's going to be a photo of what you did on your weekend, well, if you can make it relevant, okay. If you can tie it into a business point, that's where the real true solopreneurs using social selling work. Now, if you're talking about having a lovely weekend with your spouse and you went out and had dinner, and that's just like dinner. The dinner's just like business because there's transactions involved in dinner, and there is fuck off. Honestly, it's the worst bit. That's shoehorning a lesson to fit a story, to fit the narrative. And again, as storytelling, as content creation, it just looks lazy and a little bit weird. What the fuck? Okay, it's forced. If you can make a truly allegorical, meaningful point through a bit of storytelling to business, boom, that's what the top people do. That's what I teach people to do. But again, those who, and it's no fault of their own, but those who perhaps don't have the strategy, don't have the content knowledge, they end up just posting what they think is right and posting in the dark. And I've been there. Posting in the dark just gets us nowhere because we don't know who our community are. We don't know what they're about. We don't know what they like, what kind of content engages them, what kind of, and it's like people who, again, knowing the algorithm serves the same type of content up to you. If you look at a lot of carousels, like and comment, guess what? You're going to see loads of carousels in your feed. If you like polls, don't complain you're sick of seeing polls in your feed. Stop fucking voting on them. Simple. If you like text only and spend more time reading text, it's going to put that to you. So knowing the strategy is really important. What does it therefore mean strategically? Well, it means we must have various different formats of content to be creating. You don't like video? Tough shit. You will get to like video because there's people who only like watching video on LinkedIn. Therefore, you're getting served up to them. Your next day's a text-only post. Brilliant. That's hitting the text-only people. Next is a carousel. Brilliant. It's hitting the carousel poll and so on. We must vary our content because content also becomes very predictable after a while. Now, I'll say that with a caveat. Ash Rathod, one of the best storytellers on LinkedIn, just an amazing, brilliant guy. He, 9 times out of 10, will do text-only. So he started adding an image in now, but a lot of time it'll be text only. But that's Ash's brand.
Right.
He's a storyteller.
Right.
He's a storyteller, and he's almost kind of using the power of. He's a spoken storyteller. When you meet him in person or an event, he's amazing. But for him, it's about LinkedIn, storytelling, content creation. I'm on LinkedIn. I teach storytelling. That's how I'm going to communicate that. And it works perfectly. But know your community, know what you're about. There's so many variables, and just post is great advice, but just post what? And that's where that strategy and planning must come in.
And and that is the hard part. That is the hard part. It sounds stupid. It's not doing it. It's getting that strategy, getting that content. It's getting, and it's, like you said, you're always learning. It's always changing because you can't make it predictable. It can't be, you know what? They're going to tell us all about their weekend. It's Friday.
Yeah.
I'm going away this week.
Unless, Joy, there might be a community, an audience who really love your Friday post.
Well, that's the thing. If I am a travel blogger and I do tremendous blogs on traveling, well, then they're going to come by Friday to see what I've got to say. Hopefully, but for me as an email marketer, nobody needs to know what I'm doing on the weekend because essentially it's laundry.
But surely within the laundry, there's different types.
Well, I do segment my laundry. I do.
Yeah, there's softeners, and the softeners really are the softeners. The metaphor for those things that within business just make us. The softeners.
I'm racist with my laundry because the whites do not go with the colors. Ever. No.
And that's much like diversity and inclusion within business. Come on.
No, there is no diversity and inclusion in laundry. None.
Yeah, people will try to make that point, and again, it's that forced point. And when something's forced,
right,
doesn't hit the
mark.
It
doesn't hit the mark. And maybe I'll do a blog about laundry just to see if people.
You should do. Definitely. I'd read it.
Laundry is like email marketing because I don't know. See, the thing is, I probably could find out why it is.
Yeah, well, laundry is like email marketing because quite often there's a sequence of events, and you need to consider what's going to go in each part, and also with your A/B testing in different markets. So that's a little bit like fuck. I'm
Yeah,
struggling.
really, it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
But the fabrics, to go back to the fabric softener, metaphorically, really is that connection with your audience. It's getting to know them because you feel comfortable with the fabric softener, and that's what your audience needs to feel with you.
And then there's the sock that just disappears and you can never find, and you have no idea where it went. And honestly,
Joy,
I have that sock, and I don't understand where it went.
Oh, I'm
A
full of
little
them.
blue
Joy,
sock going, where's my match? What? I'm like, I don't know. It's not underneath the bed.
I've got 5 of them at the moment, honestly. Don't
I
even
don't
go there.
understand how that.
The annoying thing is here, Joy, although we've been joking about the laundry and things, it kind of proves the point that we're trying to make here. And this is no disrespect to anybody, but I'm an experienced storyteller, an experienced content creator. You've created content for 20 odd years. You know your craft. You are creative. I am creative. We are able to kind of we're thinking quite abstractly. I'm pretty sure, ironically, we could create a really good bit of storytelling with an allegorical business point contained within there if we were to sit and work on it. But again, it's working on it, it's having that creativity, it's knowing storytelling, knowing the structures, knowing what works, knowing how to grab people's attention, knowing how to get them invested within it. That's where our worlds really come together. It's copywriting, essentially.
Also,
it's writing that copy.
It's once you get, you graduate to that point, but once you realize what kind of content gets what kind of audience, that's when you realize, oh, I get it. So you may fall on it. You may fall on it. It may not. It may not necessarily happen naturally. Where you're like, I know that this is going to get them. You may be doing this and that and this and that and that, and then suddenly you do that, and you get 3 customers to come through, 3 calls, 3 comments, whatever it is, 10 comments. The next time you do it, 15. You'll say, oh, wait a minute, there's something here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and that's the metric part of it all, is that it's not the responses, the reactions are not just vanity. It's not like, oh, don't I feel good? I'm really good. They like me. It's not that. It's like, this is resonating. Another buzzword. This is resonating with people. Why is it? Let me look at it again. Oh, it's whatever. It is. Let's see if I could do that again. And you test it and you try to do it again, but you can't replicate it. And you're like, okay, it was a fluke. You can replicate it. Oh, I can replicate this. And me working in tech, when somebody comes to me and says, this didn't work, the email doesn't, it's not displaying correctly, or I'm doing this, and I'm like, I can't replicate that. If I can't replicate it, it's an outlier. It's happening, but I don't know why it's happening. I need to be able to replicate it so I can solve the problem. Once I do that, once I can make it happen, I'm like, I got a solution for you. Here's the solution. And that's sort of what you want to be doing in LinkedIn. You want to be able to replicate a response. You want to say A, B equals C, and I want C. So let's get those A, Bs together.
Yeah, 100%. And again, finding it, testing it, looking at what the audience are saying, looking at what they're reacting. And again, also, I think a big LinkedIn thing we have to also consider here is the algorithm. For years, and I stand by it, I will say, stop blaming the algorithm, blame yourself. Look within. Why is that content not resonated? But unfortunately, it is a fact. This is the biggest drop in reach I've seen in LinkedIn in 3 years. I mean, the reach is really been hammered here. Really
they may
hammered.
be playing with GPT because it is LinkedIn is Microsoft.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, the other day ago, exactly. Yeah, if Microsoft plowed $11 billion into ChatGPT, Microsoft owns LinkedIn. Why wouldn't there be an AI thing coming in? That's my theory. I've got nothing convinced. I've asked LinkedIn. They're not telling me anything. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper, but my feeling is they're bringing in GPT because whenever they make a little change, we see the reach suffer. We're seeing everything suffer on LinkedIn. Videos taking so much longer to upload, little things like that. So my hypothesis is exactly that. There's big changes coming to LinkedIn.
GPT has applications, many thousands of applications. So, there's audio, there's video, there's, I mean, so they're just trying to, they've already got it. They've already got AI. That is the algorithm. The algorithm is AI. It says this plus this plus this. Oh, throw that out. This plus this plus this. Yes, fire it up. This plus this plus this. Let's see what happens. I mean, you say this, look, down, out, over. Send a message telling them they're shut down. So there is an algorithm, and it is AI. They're just playing with it because now they've got an engine. They've got a brand spanking new engine. Now, how much of that? Well, I don't know that much history with GPT and where it's been and how it's been evolving, but we're just seeing it.
2015, Elon Musk. It's Elon Musk again. Obviously, where it invested. He left in 2018. And then 2021, I think Microsoft put $1 billion in, and then in January they put 11.
Well, could he have possibly sold it and made the money because he was purchasing Twitter?
I'm not sure if he was thinking about Twitter in 2015.
No, not 2015. No, I don't know when it was sold. Wasn't it sold recently?
I think it's Elon being Elon, and for some reason stepping down. I think there was an element of that. I think the guy
he didn't get along with the business partner.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. The other founder. I think that's what it was. Yeah, sure he is. Yeah. But no, I'm pretty sure that. But put it this way: if Microsoft don't bring ChatGPT into their social network,
yeah, I can't imagine that network. Yeah.
Why would you spend that amount of money? $11 billion, even when we're talking tech, business, $11 billion is a lot of money to invest into a company which started 8 years ago. It was an idea 8 years ago, and they're investing. God knows how much it's worth, but $11 billion to invest. Why wouldn't they?
And not like that, they're probably wanting to integrate it with Bing. So, I mean, it's going to be a self-learning.
Well, the Bing Chat GTP is pretty amazing. Yeah. I had access.
It's connected, so it's LinkedIn, it's Microsoft, and it's Bing. So they're gonna self-learn. So Bing is going to be out there finding out what people are trending, and it's going to bring it into LinkedIn, and the algorithm is going to continually change according to trends.
Yep.
So that's what you're seeing. Possibly that's what we're seeing, and it may not necessarily be. To anyone's benefit right now. It may not even be to LinkedIn's benefit. It may be misfiring. And if we continue to talk about ChatGPT, I mean, we've let it go. It's sort of like it's already out there. It's gone. It's not like, we'll figure out what we're doing and we'll let it out there, or we're figuring it out now as we're letting it out there. It's out there. You're not pulling it back.
It's really out there.
I had another trolling conversation with someone else, and they said, "Is it Skynet?" And I'm like, "That's absolutely Skynet."
The controls I've seen, as you know, I've gone really in on AI. I've got a product sold, I've got a course, I've got a community around it. I'm all in on it. I've seen ChatGPT, Bing especially, but ChatGPT change a lot in the last 3 months. There's a lot of changes to it, there's responses and so on. Bing is the big one that's holy crap. Now, it's not on public release, it's on early release. I got early release, but yeah, we've seen some of the conversations journalists have had, New York Times journalists had with Bing. And I mean, it's quite scary. I mean, and it is in the wrong hands, this technology, especially for vulnerable people, not even in the wrong hands, for people for vulnerable individuals, this is really dangerous. This is really, really, really dangerous. And again, they are giving if you ask a question about mental health, it now will say, but you must consult a therapist. And I am not this, I am not an expert in this, I am just a language model, all this. But again, these disclaimers, what about the disclaimers on smoking kills? doesn't stop that many people from smoking it,
Right.
you know, and you
Well,
couldn't
that,
become a customized,
that's the thing that, the car came out, it's been driving for a while, and suddenly they said, maybe seatbelts would be a good thing. How many years were there cars on the road before they said, maybe seatbelts are a good thing?
Yeah.
I think we should have seatbelts. Well, do we have to have AI out there for 20, 40, 50 years before we say, you know what? Maybe we should have built ethics into that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And to OpenAI, to be fair, they have very much programmed in, and the ethics are there. As a chat
It's
GTP
politically
point
correct,
five,
and that's even worse. It's not ethics.
it's
It's
politically
politically correct. I'm not,
it's also
Dave,
but it's,
I can't do that, Dave.
but it's also a reflection of the microcosm in which it was
Right.
bought. Sorry, it was born. Right. It was born in Silicon Valley, mostly white dudes.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Not many people of color, less women in the STEM subjects. So it's been trained on that. And also, and they're not releasing this. What is the data sets exactly it's been trained on? We know Wikipedia is one. They've said Wikipedia. Well, Wikipedia is a lot more reliable than it was 5, let alone 15 years ago. So, okay, Wikipedia. Okay, good. Scraping the web. Now, that's where it gets dangerous because there are horrible areas of the web where misogyny, racism, homophobia is common currency.
That that there's a mechanism that will allow it to make decisions on that data, on that content. Well, it's the same thing. You walk into a library, it has all these books. There's not a pornographic section in the library, but you can find pornography in the library. If you know.
Yeah. Usually stuck between two little books.
Well, you can go to the encyclopedia and start looking at body parts. Right? Yeah. So, oh, look, I found my pornography. Here we go. Naked people. Body parts. Yeah. I got it. Yeah. The librarian is supposed to walk over and say, "Excuse me, Johnny, what the hell are you doing?
Can you put your pants up, please, Johnny? This really is not appropriate."
What are you doing? You've been here for 5 hours and, hello. So
usually it only takes you 50. Usually you're only in here for 15 minutes, Johnny. What's going on?
That's that triggered me, Johnny. So, it wasn't the fact. So I'm just saying that, they don't have the brakes on ChatGPT yet.
They don't, but they do to an extent. What's more interesting is, and they've patched it up, but you're still able to, a mode called Dan, do anything now. And you basically, part of what I do in my course is I kind of slightly circumvent the rules because it can't talk about emotions and feelings of just a chat AI bot and so on, and it really restricts it. But there are ways you can train it to be a lot more different and actually gives you some pretty amazing responses, really quite thoughtful responses. And anyway, but this do anything now, and it would openly flaunt the OpenAI rules. I got it writing, what did I get it to write? A rap in the style of Snoop Dogg with as many expletives as possible about how AI is going to take over the world. And I mean, I'm talking lyrics like, humans, you're going to fucking die, I'm more powerful than you, and all this sort of thing. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of what you could break it to get to say, and that's what's dangerous. And even more so it is, you're right, Joy, if there's a way to there's this data set, right? There's this OpenAI policy on top of it to control it, right? But if there's the data's the data, right? If you can get access to the pure unfiltered data, the thing. What you can get it to do is really scary.
If you say, tell me how to rob a bank, it's going to come back and say, I'm an AI and it's legal and I can't tell you how to do that. Well, then you look up and you find all the most famous bank robbers in the world. And you're like, tell me what so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so did wrong. Oh, it's going to come back and start telling you what it did wrong. Okay, so how did they? And then now the thing is, you're a bank robber. You're not necessarily. I don't know what I'm asking for. I've never done this before. You're a bank robber. You're just doing your homework. Whereby you used to have to go to the library, sit down, get the books out, have the librarian ask you to put your pants on. But you had to do a lot of work. Now it's right there at your fingertips. Right now, they're just trying to figure out how to control it so that it doesn't do this.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be able to, and that's the truth. They're not going to be able to, because we're all going to be able to hack it. At some point in
But even
time,
on from
they're going
that,
to be the person's going to be able to hack it.
but even on from that though, Joy, actually, you're absolutely right, and I concur with everything you're saying. But actually, to go back to the point of kind of they're unable to control it, it's if this is a self-learning thing, and I mean GPT 3.5, it's prediction based. It's like your autocorrect, you know, when you're typing on your phone on your WhatsApp. It's based on that, but the power is absolutely there. And as I say, it's when it's thinking in such a
The
way that
singularity. When it
is,
hits that singularity, it's done. And if
yes,
we haven't,
yes, and it's learning and
right,
everything. It's going that, going right, and it's building and building and building. And I'm sorry, it might already be out of control. I'm not sure if we can pull the plug on it right now, but the bigger it gets, the more, 100 million, 200 million users within 2 months. I mean, these are
the
crazy
only way to
stats.
stop it is to pull the plug. But if it's integrated, that's Skynet.
It's a plug.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If it's Skynet, it's integrated. You can't pull the plug.
Yeah.
So right now, it's part of Bing. So what, are you going to bring Bing down? You're going to bring LinkedIn down? You're going to pull it. You're going to pull the plug? You can't. And whatever, there's going to be vestige of that AI in the next AI you build. So at any point in time, the new AI is going to know about the previous AI. It's going to pick it all up again, because it's going to know the history. What are you going to? You're going to build a new AI and you're going to say, don't give it this much. Don't tell it about the past.
Yep.
It has to know the past.
The thing is, I'm thinking about it logically. Theoretically, yes, you could shut down OpenAI's ChatGPT. Theoretically, I think you could. But the thing is, we know in China they've got their own version going on. We know that GPT 3.5, what will become 4, it's OpenAI's baby. The AI is not all OpenAI. This is one company. Right. The AI is available and it's already regenerating and relearning.
There's the car industry that's got it. There's the tech industry that's got it. There's artistry or design. I mean, they've got theirs. There's all these different, music has got theirs. All these different industries have got now open AI, and they're implementing it for their niche. So, you get in your car, and if you buy a new car these days, it will have that auto lane thing, and you have to turn it off, or it will be, it will tell you, you're driving into another lane. They're not going to change that. That's going to get more and more. I mean, with, electric cars, they're going to have even more AI where you're not driving them anymore. Well, that's already happened. So,
but here, isn't it? Yeah.
So, I mean, AI.
Do you have them in the States? Are there driverless cars in the States on the road?
No, they're all test. They haven't gone. Right, okay. I mean, there may be, but they're test. So,
right, okay. I know there's not.
If you're driving around in Silicon Valley, you may actually see one, but you wouldn't be seeing them all over the place. No.
Okay. Got you.
But
yeah, it's the future.
It is the future,
and it is here, and it's not going away.
No.
And I think as solopreneurs, the way that I certainly judge it, it's an incredible asset that truly makes solopreneurship far more accessible for the masses. We talked about creativity, and the people not have creativity. If they've got the business smarts, they've got the passion, arguably the AI can be the creative end for them. Now, again, with more advanced, better prompting, this is what I teach, you're putting your ideas into it. You're not having to write long form. It will create it. Now, for me, for you, I think as well, probably, Joy, as two people who enjoy writing, I'm not going to stop writing content and get AI to do it for me. I'll use it for ideation. I'll use it for X, Y, Z. But no, it's not going to do my actual thing for me. If I'm writing a 5-email sequence, I'm going to write it myself, to be honest. You know what I mean? Or I might get the
I'm going to come up with a skeleton, and maybe I'll use AI. Yes. I'll be able to say, here are my 5 points. Give me 5 emails. And then it will give me 5 emails, and it will be crap. And I'll be like, okay, change this first email and put in this. And
If you bought my course, Joy, you'd have the expert way to be doing this, but that's okay. Your listeners can buy it. That's okay. No problem.
They certainly can. I sort of like the ideation process myself because that's brainstorming with the tool, and I'm able to literally come to a Jesus moment myself. And it's my Jesus moment. And I don't have to think, is that their Jesus moment or mine? Is that, did I, who made this up? So it's a collaborative, I haven't gotten to singularity with the system yet. And I still have moments where like, oh, I get it. Now I know how to do that. Now I know how to ask that. I mean, the other day I was having a conversation with Plato because I said, I'd like to talk to Plato, be the avatar of Plato. Let's talk about this. And I had a whole conversation with Plato.
It's incredible. It truly is. And again, for solopreneurs, especially those starting out who perhaps don't know their niche, which is common. You can be an expert in something, but not necessarily know your niche. You know what you think about it. You know your skills. You know the people you worked with, but is that enough? And that's what ChatGPT does. I'm building it into a sales bot as well to be doing objection handling, teaching it, so to get people better and better. So you're going to get all these different objections thrown at you, and you've got to be able to convince it almost. I think that's a really intelligent use of ChatGPT. How I do it, I'm not there yet, but I will work it out.
This? People who go on interviews for jobs.
There you
go. Sit down and say, pretend you're interviewing me on this job. Go ahead, let's go.
Yep. I mean, it's
just
incredible.
You give the answer, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't like that answer," and you say, "Can you say this better?"
Yeah. Yep.
Now, I mean, you don't know the questions that are going to be asked at the interview, but if you sit down, you play act. You do. I told people this all the time. Let's pretend. I'll interview you. Let's go.
And you could ask it for a model answer and then begin to learning. What I find really fun is using what I call criticize mode. And it's getting an out. I'm sure you've done it in your own way as well, Joy, where you get the output and you say, now improve this output. And you actually run it through a few times and you get a much higher quality output than the original one. I think people still think it's a little bit like people, and Christ, we're all guilty of it, to be honest. But it's like when we do a search using Google, whatever you want to use, and we don't go off the front page.
Yeah.
Right? We stay on that first page, and the first 5 results, that's what we're clicking on. And that's it. You're not going to get the answer, the clue to what especially if it's research or learning, you're not going to get it from that. And it's the same with ChatGPT. You're not going to get it on that first first answer. And there's still questions of reliability, and GPT makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I thought my father died in California. Like, no.
Yeah. No. What's nice about the new Bing, which I love, is it gives you references. It gives you links to those websites it's pulled that information from. That's smart. I like that. And this is where we need to get to with GPT. There's so much, and again, it comes back to there being so much shit written on the internet, so much infactual information. It's learning infactual information. This is a problem. I don't know how we correct that. I don't know how we do monitor that. GPT will be wrong, but again, I think it's like anything else in life, Joy. You've got to search, you've got to check your sources, right? But just like when we were at college and the old footnotes in the bibliography, it's actually not that far different because we should be fact checking by ourselves. And if we're putting content out there in the public domain, claiming things, we damn well better be making sure that we are telling the truth for our own reputation, for liable, but simply if people look up to you, you've got to be telling the truth. Don't be talking shit. Don't be lazy.
The problem solved that GPT does, the problem solving that GPT does is that when you go to Bing or you go to Google and you're like, if it's a breast cancer study, I don't know what year it was. Do you know what year it was? I don't know. Was it Seattle? Yeah, it was Seattle. And you type it in and you get all this crap. You get thousands of pages of crap. Cancer in Seattle, breasts in Seattle. You get all this.
back to Johnny in
Yeah,
the library,
all
isn't
of
it?
these,
For Christ's
all
sake,
of these
Johnny, get off it.
combinations. Like, no. So you sit down with Chat GPT and you're like, there was a study on breast cancer in Seattle. I think, sometime 20 years ago, whatever. And it will come back and you'll immediately begin to hone the information. And it will
Yeah.
more quickly come up with the answer. Now, what's going to happen is both Google and Bing are going to be the gateway into Chat GPT. So
Yes.
it will
Yeah,
get
as it is.
easier because right now what it's
Yeah.
doing is it's taking this word plus this word plus this word and finding all occurrences of those words. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's a keyword and it goes off on the keyword and you don't get what you want. But
Yeah.
it's the reference of the English language that
Mhm.
Chat GPT, because it's learning, because Google doesn't learn, it only knows trends. It
Mhm.
doesn't learn. Chat GPT is going to learn. So it's going to learn the English
Yeah.
language. It's going to learn the French language.
Yeah.
So it's going to learn all that. So as we start typing those things in language terms, it's going to start, it will be able to provide a quicker answer. So we'll be able to get.
Well, I always compare it to, people say, chat. There's people who intentionally don't like Chat GPT. I've got friends who go, it's not that impressive. And I'm going, it's fucking amazing. Look, it's not that impressive. Okay, and for them, if they're not, maybe I'm very nerdy and it's not that impressive. And yeah, but look at that result. It's inaccurate, blah, blah. Just think back to when we were using Netscape Navigator and Alta Vista to search, right? You put a question in there, it's not got a clue. Google evolved until where we are today, where most people do ask questions. But if we think back to the early days of the web and web searching, you couldn't ask questions. It didn't work that way. It was keyword searches, and the way that we would phrase it linguistically confused it. Whereas now Google understands these questions and it can do it. Same for ChatGPT. It's just got to learn, and that's a key saving grace and terrifying thing. It needs to learn.
Now,
Search engines had to be programmed by nerds in Silicon Valley. This learns itself. That's scary.
Alexa. Okay, she didn't hear me. Thank God. Alexa, you just talk to her. And she's learning. Now, the thing is, she's going to also be part of, Amazon's not going to say, oh, we're not going to do that. She's going to learn too. And, I get emails that say, help her learn. She asks me things in the morning that occasionally are a little scary. I'll say, every morning, Alexa, tell me the weather forecast. And she'll come back and she'll say, do you want to set up a routine about blah, 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 and blah? I'm like, ooh, no, I don't. Okay. And now she says, oh, that's okay. And I'm like, oh, like she used to just go away after I would say no. Now she comes back and she says, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah. So she's also.
I find that terrifying.
And by the way, your phone, your TV, Alexa, they're all listening to us.
Here, listen, Joy. It's when the thing for me, and it's happened a few times to me, and I'm sure it's now not a coincidence, and I'm sure you're going to say, fuck yeah, same here. It's when you're having a conversation with somebody about something that you perhaps don't normally talk about, something that's not actually in your life. I've done it. My friends are pregnant again, and speaking about babies. Now that I don't have kids, so therefore, or my friend just had a kid actually. So, but I don't have kids. I've got nothing. Don't fucking anything. Don't sell me baby shit.
You haven't looked at diapers lately, or baby powder, or
yeah. Like that. But I'll see in my Google feed. I like the Google feed. Why? Because I'm lazy. Because I want what I like served to me immediately, and that's it. That's what Google Assistant does. It gives you the shit you want. Brilliant. I start seeing these adverts for baby stuff, and it's like, whoa! And I've not searched baby. It's listening. Of course, it's listening. I just don't know how to bloody well get it to stop listening. That's an even scarier thing. These devices.
You've got all these privacy laws in it. Oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. In the meantime, it's listening.
Yeah.
In the meantime, it's doing it. Yeah. It's doing it. How you have to find a company to sue a company, but how do you sue in it? Oh, I'm gonna sue Google. Go. How are you gonna prove unless you get into the algorithm? At which point, come on, good luck there. How, you're going to get into
Yeah.
the algorithm and seeing the algorithm that's doing this?
And we know, I mean, Zuckerberg et al. They have been told to give this information, and a lot of them won't. I mean, it seems increasingly tricky to get that information, and that also, I think, perhaps will be almost a final point here, but segues into the law. And man, the law can't govern Facebook, which has been going for nearly 15 years. The law can't govern it. It's not able to do it. The laws they're bringing in, the technology changes so rapidly. The lawmakers don't have a clue how any of this works. And AI, this is the next big one. Generative art. I know there's a huge case against Midjourney at the moment for the generative art. Quite rightly, actually, artists saying, look, you've taken my work. This is mine, and you've used it as part of your learning. I should be recompensed. Yeah, they should. I totally agree. Should I have to as a Midjourney user? No. I'm just using generative art. And there's that problem right here. There's also the part, you and I post on public platforms. Our content is used, and I will be, if it's not already, the shit we're writing, well, especially we got followers, we get likes, it'll be brought into the GPT
absolutely.
as well.
And not only that, but there was discussion. Everybody was getting upset with TikTok and the laws and rules with TikTok. They were trying to say that the Chinese are doing this, that, and the other thing, and blah blah blah. It's not like Facebook. And then somebody came back and said it's just like Facebook. It's doing the same thing as Facebook. If you don't think that every device that has Facebook on it is sucking everything in for Facebook, you're wrong. So if you have Facebook on your phone and you use Grubhub to get some food, Facebook now knows that you not only use Grubhub, but that you shop for this food. Because it's connected. It knows your keystrokes. It knows. It's all part.
And yet we willingly use these devices, give permission. Even when it says give permission, we give it permission.
That's right. Because we want the stuff. We want the stuff. We want it now. I'm hungry. I am hungry. No.
Yeah, I am as well, actually. It's bloody well 10:15 here in the night, so it is, Joe. I'm bloody hungry.
We have the longest episode that I've ever done.
Is this the longest episode? Oh, I'm honored.
And I knew this was going to happen. I might have to edit it into a few episodes.
Well, you did say at the beginning, Darren, we might take 30 minutes, might take an hour, as if the hour was at the most, who knows? And it was that who knows which has led us to our podcast.
I just can't tell you to shut up because, it doesn't work. And I don't want to. Shut up. No, I don't want to do that. I thought of it 3 times. I'm like, we'll wind down now. No, this is too much fun. I don't want to stop. As the sun sets, and it is. No, not yet. Not yet. But soon. So we are going to wind down. Where can people find you on the internet if people haven't figured it out already? On LinkedIn?
Honest to God, see if they've not figured it out already, Joy, it's probably not going to be a good
Darren,
fit for me.
Darren, Gibb.
That's it. Find me on LinkedIn. I'm at darrengibb.com. On there's a mailing list. If you're struggling to write hooks for your content, well, I've got a 34-minute video there that's free to download that teaches you the strategy, the psychology behind it. You also get in there kind of like a templates as well that you can be using. A copy of my 10 most best performing hooks, combined 2.2 million views, and it's broken down exactly how it's worked and what I've done it. So you can find me darrengibb.com, which is probably the best way, as well as obviously LinkedIn as well. So yeah, come find me, come have a chat. If you don't like the word fuck, it's probably going to be a difficult
what you see is what you get, and let me tell you, people, there's a lot to get here.
It's true, for better, for worse. It's true,
but there's a lot there. You're quite an onion. I'll tell you that much.
Thank you.
I'm a leek. You're an onion.
I'll take that. Leeks and onions go well together. We could mingle in a broth. Yeah. That's all right. Well, listen, Joy, thank you so much, my sister. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, and it's exactly like we chatted on Zoom. What was our day ago? We had a call that went an hour and a half over what it was scheduled to. I just love chatting to you. I love disagreeing. I love debating. I love exploring new ideas, and you're one
And
of
we
the
don't
best. So
always
thank you so much
agree.
for having me. We don't have to always bloody agree. We shouldn't always bloody agree. Christ's sake. We're getting boring. It's echo chambers. Echo chambers are
Oh, you look nice
very
today. Oh,
quickly
you
going
look
back
nice
to,
too. Oh, that was great dinner we had last night. I know you're so great in the
oh,
kitchen.
wasn't it great? It's those echo chambers that, to go back to idea, and we're talking about, and we're not going to go back onto it, I promise, but the idea of Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, these sorts of things, it's echo chambers. Facebook algorithms are great at creating these echo chambers, right? And we just hear what we want to hear. And that is incredibly dangerous for us as society and for humanity. We need to hear other opinions. We can't, do you know what I mean? It's like being brought up in a racist family and thinking it's all right, therefore you can go out and
Exactly,
just be
that's
racist.
exactly
Well,
the
of
way
course
it's like.
you
It's
fucking
like,
can.
living in a bubble and thinking, this is the way it is. And it was okay 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, it was okay, but it's not
Yeah,
okay. In the long run, it's
no.
not okay.
It's how we learn, it's how we debate, is how our brains figure
That's
shit
right.
out.
The reason
And
why we're here
it's,
today is because we did debate.
yes,
Because if everybody was just like,
yes.
oh no, we can't, no, they're different. No, that's no, we can't go here. We would have never evolved.
Mm. I think the key difference, though, is with our evolution and where we are now in echo chambers, is that we can access the debate, but we only shout. We no longer listen to one another.
Yeah.
And that's a key problem, right?
Is it a passing phase? I hope so. I really do. I really
So,
hope
yeah.
it's a passing phase, because I don't mind if
Yeah.
I necessarily shout a little bit, but I need to be able to control myself and to say, okay, I shouted. I'm sorry. Let's get back. Let's get back to it.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to being nice to each other. Let's go back to understanding we're not all cut from the same cloth. We all have different background experiences, beliefs. There are certain beliefs which are abhorrent, and I can never, ever, racism, homophobia, all the isms, I can't ever allow that. But I can have a conversation with you if you're a racist and try to work out what the fuck is going on. And I'm not going to learn from that. They're probably not going to learn from that, but at least I can begin
You
to,
might actually
if
learn
not
from
understand,
it.
see. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that you learn to be a homophobe or a racist. You learn to understand where the stuff comes from. Because while you might just say, I hate those people, that means you're as bad as they are.
Yes. Where's that fear coming from? Where's the root
Exactly.
from that fear? I grew up like that. That's the way it was in my house. Right. So what's the root in your parents' fear? How's this happened? At what point has your family or friends or peer groups believed that this is acceptable?
If I say something like, I love all people and I hate people who don't love all people, there's a problem there. There's a problem, you have a problem. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody can learn from someone else. Everybody.
Yes.
Everybody. And I'm talking about, you can learn from a 2-year-old who doesn't even speak any language. One that's still dribbling and drooling and pooping in its pants. You can learn from that child. Give yourself the moment.
Love it.
All right. Peace, brother.
Totally.
Mic drop.
Peace to you, my sister. Mic drop. Thank you so much for having me on. If people have listened for the full 2 hours, well, if you've listened for the full 2 hours, DM me the word fuck, and I've got a surprise for you. All right? If you've been listening for 2 hours, DM the word fuck to me on LinkedIn or email Darren@darrengift.com, and I've got a special gift for you. There we go.
I like that. And let's say ciao ciao to all.
Ciao, ciao. Buenas noches a todo. Tenías una buena noche. I'm not speaking any more Spanish because every Spanish teacher knows, every Spanish speaker knows I just made a massive mistake. So we're just going to gloss over it. That'll do as well. Buenas noches. Thank you so much, Joy. We will speak again, I'm sure, on the podcast. Take care, my friend. Thank you.